New intro. So much love and appreciation to those of you who have been with me for the 2 year period plus that I've been doing this. Thank you for showing your love and support to the channel. And to anybody else who is brand new to the platform and you would like to support the channel, also, you can do it by way of Patreon, Anchor, the clothing store, and also the shoe shop that is listed in the comment description below. And again, thank you to any and all of you guys who have been here to support this channel during the 2+ year period. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day without you. 9-year-old Jelaya Williams pointed out the area where her father had his life taken New Year's Eve during a celebration. James Williams, age 46, had been blasting off celebratory gunshots to ring in the New Year's when police officers took his life minutes after midnight, firing through the family's enclosed wooden security fence, which is approximately 6 feet high. His wife, Marquetta Williams, stated that she was standing only a foot or two from her husband inside the back door at their 10th Street Southwest home when he fired 4 shots into the air. James Williams turned to follow her inside and then told her, quote, "I've been hit." Police Chief Jack Angelo has asked the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations to investigate, turning over police body cam footage, which has not yet been released to the public. The chief issued a news release Saturday stating that Williams was armed when police officers responded at 12:06 a.m. to gunfire at his house in the 2300 block of 10th Street Southwest. The release stated the officer, who was outside of the vehicle, confronted a subject that began shooting a firearm. The officer, in fear of his safety, fired his duty weapon at the subject and struck him. Police have declined to comment beyond that initial statement. Harry Campbell, chief investigator of Stark County Coroner's Office, stated that Williams was pronounced deceased at around 12:27 a.m. Sunday at Altman Hospital, which is only a few blocks away from Williams' home. The officer, who had not been identified as of yet, has been placed on administrative leave, as is policy in an officer-involved shooting. Miss Williams told the newspaper that she never saw an officer before her husband was injured. The father of 6 girls, James Williams, was at home New Year's Eve with his wife and 3 of his daughters, his mother's cousin, and her nephew-in-law. The girls were watching TV, and at midnight, quote, "When the ball dropped, the adults stepped outside of the door into the enclosed patio. The kids were watching the countdown, and we were going outside to shoot guns like everybody else does." She stated that her husband used an AR-15 and fired into the air as they heard their neighbors firing their weapons as well. He does not have a concealed carry permit, but she does. She also stated that, adding that the guns belong to her. Quote, "We do this every year because it was New Year's Eve. Everybody in the neighborhood was shooting. It was a tradition. Everybody shoots on New Year's Eve." After he fired off a few rounds, they stepped back inside, and a few seconds later, he wanted to let off a few more rounds. He fired 4 more times as he stood just outside of their side door, about a foot away from her, still inside of the enclosed patio. And that's when Mr. Williams stepped back into the home and stated that he had been hit. Marquetta Williams called 911, and by the time she opened the door, quote, "There were 30-something officers with weapons pointing at us, telling us to get down and come out of the home with our hands up." In a 911 recording released to the newspaper on Monday, a woman can be heard telling the dispatcher, quote, "My husband is shot." On Monday morning, Beacon Academy principal Cammie Lewis went to the family's home. Lewis stated that the girls attended her school and she was preparing to send food, school counselors, and other resources to the home. Holes could be seen in the fence where Marquetta Williams stated the bullets had passed through. Jelaya Williams stated that her father cooked brunch on New Year's Eve, a meal of bacon, eggs, and biscuits. Her mother explained that James Williams loved to cook, often making their favorite spaghetti and macaroni and cheese. He had a massive hat collection, and she stated that he was a die-hard Detroit Lions and Detroit Pistons fan. He's from Detroit. He doesn't care if they're losing or not. He's still rooting for them. The Detroit native attended the University of Akron, where he studied criminal justice before moving to Kent. She stated that Mr. Williams was a stay-at-home father. Williams had 4 daughters, ages 9 through 15, and 2 stepdaughters. Family photos decorating the living room shows him proudly grinning in the middle of his large family. "My husband was a good man, and he didn't deserve to die this way. He was loved. He was lovable and kind. He would give you the shirt off of his back. He's going to be dearly missed. He shouldn't have died the way he did. I just want justice for him." Now, this is a pretty sad story. As you can clearly see, you have Mr. Williams, and he has his very beautiful family, and he's just sitting there smiling. And he ended up having his life taken because he was doing the exact same things that everybody else normally does on New Year's, no matter what state anybody lives in. We've all heard the gunfire to celebrate and to bring in the New Year's. But yet, unlike everybody else, Mr. Williams ended up having his life taken. You have a black man who was a stay at home father. He was a husband. He was a brother. He was a son. And now, no more. There's no more breakfast. There's no more cooking lunch. There's no more cooking dinner. There's no more of him being home with his little girls as, they need help with their homework, right? As they want to watch their favorite television shows or maybe listen to their favorite music. They're not going to have their father there when they're going through their first time having a crush on a boy or having their first outing, right? Or going to their first dance or even their father daughter dance. It's not going to be the same at all because their lives have been interrupted by way of the police. These girls will never get to experience what it's like to have their father send them off when it comes to prom, to be there smiling, looking at his little girl growing up soon enough to, become a woman. And then you got the final step, which is her finding the perfect man and her getting married and him being there at the wedding, giving his blessing. They will never get a chance to experience what that's like. They'll never get the chance to share the joy of them having their first family and letting their father hold their first child. And that first child won't know what it's like to actually get to know Mr. Williams, their grandfather, because the police decided that this would be a good time to take somebody's life, that this would be a good time to come unannounced and just start firing through any which way just because. Like I said before, I don't know, really what else to tell black people. I don't. You literally had a black man that was doing what he was supposed to be doing, spending time with his family, being there with his girls, being there with his wife, being at home. And all because he was there, he ended up getting his life taken. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I listed in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.